So hello, B2B marketers. I'm Tyler McDonald, and I'll be your moderator for this session. Hope you are as excited to be here as I am. I'd like to thank our platinum sponsor, Mountain, who's presenting this session. We really appreciate their support of B2B Forum Online. In addition to this presentation, they have all kinds of materials to check out in their booth in the Resource Center. So be sure to stop by the booth and say hello. Visiting them might also earn you a badge and maybe even a Starbucks gift card. So let's meet our presenters and jump right into the session. Please welcome Gil Allouche and Ali Haeri. They are presenting Rewriting the Rules of ABM, presented by Mountain. A software engineer turned marketer, Gil is the founder and CEO of Metadata. When Gil first started in marketing, he was amazed at how repetitive and time-consuming it was to run paid campaigns, and he knew there had to be a better way. And there was. So he founded Metadata back in 2015, hasn't looked back. Ali leads marketing and communication efforts for Mountain as an instructor at the UCLA Extension, teaching marketing and advertising courses in the Business and Management Certification Program. So previously, Ali served as a principal product designer of the Norton Security line of consumer software at Symantec and oversaw digital marketing for the Digital Media Services division of Verizon. So welcome, Gil and Ali. Thanks so much for being here with us today. So should we get started and leave some time for questions? And don't forget, you can type chat during the presentation or ask during the Q&A in the Q&A tab. So let's roll.
Thank you so much for the time today for our presentation on rewriting the rules of ABM. We are your presenters. My name is Ali Haeri. I am Vice President of Marketing at Mountain. And I'm joined by an old friend, Gil Allouche, who is the CEO of Metadata. I'm very honest in saying that everything I learned about ABM was from Gil, so I thought he'd be really useful for our conversation today. Also, the Metadata platform is just, it's oriented around ABM success in sort of non-conventional ways too. So looking forward to Gil's input on that as well. And our big takeaway today is how do we get you to level up your ABM strategy? And obviously, that's going to be inclusive of prioritizing efficiency, automation, and experimentation. But really, differentiation is key here. Everybody's working out of the same playbook. So what is it that you can do that'll allow you to stand out from everybody else in your cohort? And so we're going to talk about that today. And so looking at our agenda, we'll start things off by kind of evaluating the current state of ABM and why it's broken. Why is everybody playing out of the same playbook? Then we'll talk about really what it takes to break out of that expected ABM approach. We'll discuss automation and experimentation and how those are key to really making this thing succeed. And then I'll chime in and talk about connected TV as a channel that you may not have considered yet for ABM success. And I'll also talk about a case study of how we've used connected TV for our own ABM program, and then how it's driven some great success for us as well. And digging right in, as I mentioned before, everybody's doing ABM the same way. It's obviously something that's very important to marketers. Looking at a HubSpot survey, 70% of marketers say they use ABM, 15% year-over-year increase. That's going to continue growing. It's a well-established component of B2B marketing programs at this point. And when you think of ABM, the sort of greatest hits of ABM tactics would be email marketing. So this is the bread and butter of marketing automation platforms, is some sort of automated email marketing against some targeted account list, targeted ads with tailored messaging. So likely you're finding yourselves doing some sort of LinkedIn matched audience advertising, or maybe on some other platforms, though the match rates may be a little variable. And then personalized landing pages. There's a lot of tools that exist out there to be able to create some somewhat personalized landing pages in service of your ABM campaigns. And everybody just sort of does it as a way to check some boxes. I shouldn't say everyone, but at least a lot of people are doing it to check a lot of boxes. When it comes to email, the experience isn't really differentiated. It may be somewhat personalized, but not enough where it really kind of engenders this feeling of total personalization and absolute relevancy to the target prospect who's opening that email, if they even open that email. Targeted ads, they're not really coordinated across platforms. I know Gil's probably going to want to have something to say about that. And when it feels siloed, again, it just doesn't feel very cohesive when you're really trying to influence that end prospect. And landing pages, I mean, do people even get to the landing page? You may put a lot of effort into creating a really kind of personalized landing page experience, but will a prospect even get to that point to see the landing page and appreciate that effort that you put into that campaign? And all of that being said, there's a lot to lose in not doing ABM right. Looking at some research, 91% of marketers really report on ABM deals being much more valuable than the other deals that they drive for a business. 95% of buyers are choosing solutions that have a lot of content out in the marketplace that helps them make that evaluation for whatever purchasing decision that they're actually making. So the content can land and can be impactful on the sale. And 200% more revenue is generated by marketers who actually have a real ABM program that's efficient and differentiated. And so this sort of makes the case for not just doing ABM, but doing it in an efficient way where the content that you're creating is actually landing, reaching the prospect. And so I want to pass it off to Gil in just a moment to kind of talk to us about the well-established ABM playbook and what metadata does to sort of take people away from that well-established playbook. And so Gil, if you wouldn't mind kind of chiming in now and letting us know from your perspective and the work that you're doing at Metadata, what you're seeing from your clients, how can people actually move away from that sort of classic ABM tactic that's not very differentiated?
Absolutely. Thank you, Ali, and hello, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to present in front of you today. And I couldn't agree more. ABM as a methodology is proven. It's actually been around for quite some time. But it is true what Ali said, that most marketers try to follow the same exact playbook. Not much innovation there. They try to kind of check in the boxes, targeted ads, landing pages that have a little bit of personalization and a bunch of emails, or maybe even direct mails. But truly, for every company, it's going to be a little different. One of the things that we've noticed with our customers is that depending on your target customer, depending on your total addressable market, and also depends on the medium, on the way you deliver your ABM experience, you're going to try, and you have to experiment, you're going to try a few different ways and see what resonates best with your prospects, what actually converts to those higher TCV, bigger deals, and faster sales cycle. So if we move into the next slide, we'll start thinking about what automation gives you. And when you use automation experimentation, how does that essentially save you time from the nitty-gritty work that takes 90% of your time today to have you focus on the creative and strategic aspects of your work, the kind of stuff that we signed up for when we went into a marketing job. And that freedom will essentially give you the ability to innovate and truly try new things. And then see from a place of opportunity, not from a place of I have to check this box so that my CEO is happy or my CMO is happy, what works for your customers and what doesn't work. When I say work, and that's why the first slide is about attribution, I mean money in, money out. Is this a profitable campaign? Money in, money out, is my marketing team a profit unit? Or is this the kind of, and that's the vast majority of the cases, is my marketing team producing vanity metrics that look good in a leadership meeting, but actually if you ask sales and if you ask the CFO, the ROI is not there. And so automation is the first pillar for us in Metadata. We want to take all the technical, repetitive, mundane tasks that you spend all of your time on and automate it for you so that you don't have to worry about it. And so ideally, you never have to log in to the different channels and go through the excruciating pain of running a campaign from start to finish, or set up a lead gen form on Facebook and the terms of use and the privacy policy, and all kinds of things that are unrelated to your job as a marketer. Ideally, you never have to move around CSV files from different data sources and add emails and enrich them and upload them and hash them to the different channels and see the match rate. Enough with all those tasks. Those are tasks that the computer can do better, faster, without mistakes, and it could do 100x the amount of tasks completely automatic for you. The second part that is as important is the audience. So ABM as a methodology really means you, unlike a Coca-Cola or a Pepsi or a Zappos or a Nike, you don't have the excuse to spray and pray. You don't have to go after the entire market. You're not McDonald's. A vast majority of the companies that we work with are companies that have a very defined total addressable market. In fact, every company, even in the consumer world, has a total addressable market. So why spend your time and money on the wrong audience? And instead, if you can kind of switch the way you think about it and look at the end of the funnel at those prospects that became customers, high value customers with high retention, and you take the criteria of those customers and you use that criteria to begin with to target the right companies and the right people within those companies, then essentially every minute of your time and every dollar of your budget is well spent. And then it means you can also spend a lot more time and a lot more money on the right prospects within the right companies. And so that's what we mean with audience matching. With metadata, we look at the entire MarTech space, every data source that is out there that you can leverage in order to really laser target the list of companies that you're after and the particular people within those companies that are relevant for your product or service. We would like to open up that data for you. And think about consumer channels like Facebook, for example, that historically don't have much B2B targeting criteria for you. They are mostly aiming towards the consumer, political. They have things like, brands that you like and the gender and the age and political affiliation, so on and so forth. You can't in Facebook choose job title and seniority and company name and technologies that the company is using in the back end. Those don't exist. But with metadata, you have one graph in which you can decide all of the technographics, demographics, buyer intent signals that are out there. It's in one graph, and you can build as many audiences, it's unlimited, and then those audiences are now ready for you in any channel, whether it's Quora, AdWords, Facebook, LinkedIn, so on and so forth. Even complete consumer channels like Pinterest are now open to you. The inventory is there. People like myself and like many of our buyers, even if you don't admit it, we're still on TikTok, watching videos here and there. And so why not target us? If you know for a fact that you're running an ad against the right persona within the right company, whether they're in TikTok or LinkedIn, wouldn't you want to target them? And that's what accurate audience matching allows you to do. Ali spoke about something that I feel strongly about, and that is personalizing for the medium. If you're trying to deliver the same message in a direct mail package, so you send someone a package, via Sendoso or Alice or Postal or one of those direct mail solutions, and you're using the same messaging in that package, the same message that you use in your outreach email, the same message that you use in your landing page, Google AdWords, Facebook, LinkedIn ads, you're doing something wrong. Because when you're browsing through a TikTok video, you might be in a different mindset than when you're browsing through your LinkedIn news feed. And so personalizing based on channel, audience, campaign type makes total sense. And you should spend some time at the very least creating the variation. Now with automation, the beauty is you don't have to manually create every workflow all the way from start to finish. With experimentation, you have the ability, and you can see here on the right-hand side, this is a very simple experimentation methodology. You're dropping 3 audiences that you're going after. So one audience is an ideal customer profile based on job titles. The second one is G2 intent. So if you're familiar with G2, it's like the Yelp for SaaS. So you can look at reviews. So G2 will sell you buyer intent data. Will tell you, hey, people are looking currently for marketing automation. These are companies that are looking for, direct advertising, or these are companies who are looking for a load balancer, what have you. And so we're dropping 3 audiences to experiment, and we're dropping 3 different creatives to experiment with, and we're also dropping 3 pieces of content. And so with experimentation, instead of trying to nail the perfect campaign, which sometimes you have the talent to do so, instead, you can essentially set up an experimentation methodology in which the system will take a look at all 500, 700, even 2,000 permutations of campaigns, and quickly it will fine-tune into the 20% of those 2,000 campaigns that trigger the most pipeline for the lowest cost for you. That is experimentation, and this is how we apply it at Metadata. And it will also look at it across channels. Like maybe take the same campaign on LinkedIn, clone it on Facebook, clone it on AdWords, and it will do some arbitrage and allow you to cut your customer acquisition cost by half just because you're using another channel or another medium, an email versus sponsored content, a chatbot on Facebook Messenger versus, I don't know, a lead gen form on LinkedIn. Let the system tell you what works and what doesn't work with the highest ROI. And really, that's the message I want to leave you with. It doesn't matter what software you're using. It doesn't matter, what channel you're about to use. If you're using data to guarantee that you're going after the right companies and the right people within those companies, check. That's the first thing that you know you're doing right, because now you can spend your time and your money on the right targets. The second part is, if you're not 100% sure, and none of us do, what is going to be the best campaign out of 1,000 possible campaigns, drop them into an experimentation methodology, and have the patience. If your sales cycle is 3 months, have the patience to wait at least two months or so to see which campaigns truly get you the ROI that you're looking for. And let the system experiment for you. You may have some assumptions, you may have some hypotheses, and that's okay. But let the system tell you from a humble place what works, what doesn't work in real time. And then the system will automatically adjust. You will see which campaigns get you, 1,000 inbound leads from your named accounts, and which campaigns get you, maybe lots of impressions, but nothing else. And you'll quickly know which one you're going to choose. And if you do it without spreadsheets and without technical, repetitive, mundane tasks, you'll be happier and you have time to focus on strategic aspects of your work, creative aspects of your work, which is what we all signed up to do when we chose marketing. And with that, I'm going to move it back to Ali to speak about the differentiation of the different ad channels.
Yeah, thanks so much, Gil. I mean, the thing that I loved about what Gil was talking about is that, first of all, with a good technology platform, a lot of the really repetitive aspects of ABM should really just be automated away. That time really should be sort of taken away from the person doing all this tactical work. You really need to free up as much time as possible to think of ingenuity, clever campaigns, new placements, and so much time is sort of tied up in just the process of downloading lists, cleaning them, uploading them, waiting for match rates and things like that. And so that was the first thing that Gil said that I really loved. The second one, and this ties in nicely to what I'll be talking about, is this idea that the B2B prospects that you're hitting, what Gil was talking about is totally true. They're consumers too. They're content consumers like everybody else. They're likely to be using social media beyond just LinkedIn like everybody else. And so if you have an efficient way to actually target these people, then you're certainly going to be creating a really memorable experience. And that ties nicely to what we'll be talking about. So Mountain is what we call a performance TV platform. It's taking connected TV and treating it like a performance marketing channel. And so we similarly believe that hitting these B2B prospects on the biggest screen in the house is going to drive maximum effectiveness for your ABM campaign. And this is a tremendous new opportunity. And all of that same sensibility that you take into advertising and all these other channels, you can absolutely apply here. That same familiarity you have as a B2B marketer in terms of audience targeting by way of some sort of ABM list that you have, all the way through to measurement at the end, being able to measure visit rate and conversion rate, from a television campaign. It's pretty impressive. And so a couple of things to consider as you're looking at connected TV as a component of your ABM strategy. First is that this isn't linear broadcast TV. So a lot of B2B marketers may sort of dismiss TV advertising because they think, well, it's so hard to target audiences and it's obviously very expensive. This isn't that. It's programmatic. It's television. And so, being able to target audiences with that same efficiency you have on digital is going to be important. In terms of the ad experience, they're unskippable, high impact ads, and they really drive real demand. And I want to share that with you. So we've actually used our own platform because we are B2B marketers. We sell to other marketers, and we used our own platform to do a campaign. We used our ABM lists, and we uploaded 2 variations of our campaign. You may know our chief creative officer, it's Ryan Reynolds. And we created an ABM campaign, and we created 2 variations of ads because you could do A/B testing on our platform. Again, it's no different than other performance marketing channels. And we deployed the campaign, and we got great results. What we did was one variation of the ad had Ryan speaking to the camera. The other one had an ad where Ryan was just narrating it. And we got to examine the results from this campaign in the same way that you would examine results in other sort of more classic digital marketing campaigns. What was interesting was the variation without Ryan's image was the one that performed better. It got a higher visit rate, significantly higher visit rate, and the cost per visit was also reasonable too. And so this performed just as well as our other channels. And actually, just looking at this as a channel for us as B2B advertisers, right now, Mountain's own platform for us, along our sort of advertising stack, which are all the same ones that you all use, it represents 23% of all of our website traffic. So it's a huge source of traffic to our website. 16.5% of our website conversions, $6.72 cost per visit, and a verified visit rate. The visit rate of people who are served the ad and eventually visit our website of over 3%. So this channel is indispensable for us. We're strangely in this position now where we rely on this channel and we can't turn it off. And that's the same way that you all think about your sort of more classic channels like paid search and paid social. And so, doing TV as an ABM B2B marketer, it's the way that is familiar on all the other channels. You upload your CRM lists, those audiences are going to be matched, and then you're going to serve your B2B ads to that audience and have that sort of peace of mind that the people watching your TV ad are in your target audience. Just moving over to our key takeaways here, there's a couple of considerations across everything Gil and myself kind of talked about here. First is prioritizing the right tools and mindset to your ABM approach. Use tools. I'm comfortable sort of recommending metadata here, but use tools like metadata that are going to automate a lot of that sort of really manual aspect of ABM campaign creation, and let it take care of that time-consuming element so it frees you up to think about the channels that you want to be on. And to that point of channels that you want to be on, think of unorthodox channels. Everyone's playing out of the same ABM playbook, and so you're going to need channels that differentiate you. And of those channels that you choose to differentiate yourself, make sure that they're channels that are measurable. And so with Mountain, TV is now a measurable channel from visit rate to conversion rate. So really make sure that you're keeping the bar high in terms of the channels that you choose as a B2B marketer. And so with that, really appreciate it. We appreciate the time, and we wanted to open it up to questions. And so we're eager to hear everything that you have to ask.
Hey, thank you guys so much, Gil and Ali. We will now begin the Q&A portion, so go ahead and ask your question by clicking on the Q&A button in the upper right-hand corner. And the first question is from Sashi. Will OTT ads work for B2B?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's absolutely why we're here today, is because we've seen that success. I think the thing to sort of reiterate about that test that we did on our own platform is that we are like you all. We are B2B marketers. We have an ABM target list that we need to hit. We're in the business of driving MQLs and SQLs, all the same challenges that you have. And very legitimately, OTT, in our case, using our own platform, has become one of the most important channels for us, both in terms of site traffic. You saw the metric, a pretty reliable, at least 20% of our website traffic is coming from our OTT campaigns. It's either one or two, depending on the month, source of leads driven, or demo requests, I should say, driven. And then we're doing a lot of measurement of our prospects, just kind of separate from like the direct demand gen aspect of it. We're doing a lot of measurement of our target prospects in the industry, just to kind of measure awareness over time. And one of the probably the biggest storyline related to that measurement that we've been doing is, as we measure awareness, we're trying to understand channel level awareness. And our visibility as a B2B brand on TV is absolutely cutting through the noise, because our target prospects are streaming television just like anybody else would. But they're seeing really targeted advertising related to whatever it is that their profession is. And so it absolutely is effective, both from a demand gen standpoint and also a brand awareness standpoint as well.
Very cool. So this one's for Ali. Are you seeing strong match rates on CTV for CRM uploads?
Yeah, this has probably been the most exciting aspect of kind of Mountain embracing the B2B audience, because match rates are so important to us as B2B advertisers. I think for a lot of B2B advertisers, and Gil could speak to this as well, a lot of B2B advertisers find themselves sort of beholden to LinkedIn, just because the match rates are going to be inherently better if you're sitting on a pile of business addresses. But they've been great on the Mountain platform for our own campaigns, using our own email data, just like you all have. We're getting around an 82% match rate on our total ABM lists that we're pumping into the platform. So our audience sizes are large and healthy, and routinely coming in at the same level as LinkedIn.
Very cool. So this is another one from Shashi. Will OTT ads work for B2B?
I think we just answered that
Oh,
one.
we did. So
Yeah,
another one's my bad, guys. So
no worries.
follow up to that. I feel anxious about the ad content may take a huge budget.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of you read our minds. We kind of anticipated the same sort of concern from advertisers uh, over a year ago, and so what we've kind of done since then is we've rolled out a service called Creative as a subscription, and it's precisely for that use case that you're asking about, which is an advertiser is really excited about this as a channel. They want to use it, but they're just worried about creative, either having it created or having it refreshed on an ongoing basis to support their campaigns. And so, with Creative as a subscription, what you do is, in exchange for an annual commitment, what you're going to have is your creative refreshed for you on a quarterly basis, or more, depending on what your level of commitment is, so that you'll never have to worry about creating creative for these campaigns. You could just allocate your money 100% towards your ad spend, and we will supply that creative for you. Now, you may be wondering, where's that creative coming from? A couple of months ago, Mountain acquired a really tremendous platform called QuickFrame. QuickFrame is a video marketplace. They have over 5,000 creators on their platform, and they create everything from, editing your user-generated content into an ad, all the way through to full-blown TV commercial shoots, whatever your need is. And so, whether in the context of this Creative as a subscription service or directly with QuickFrame, you can go to them and get creative created for you for any platform, and for a wide variety of budgets as well. And so, yeah, we have a lot of options over here at Mountain for kind of accommodating customers, no matter where they are in the journey of getting ready to do TV advertising.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So this one's for Gil. So what can I tell my manager to convince them that we need to introduce more automation into our current process?
Well, that one is easy. If you want to scale and you don't want to hire additional people as you go, automation is the key. So if you want to move from running 10 campaigns a month to running 1,000 campaigns a month without hiring 4 or 5 campaigns managers, this is where automation, especially of technical, repetitive, mundane tasks that are kind of low value, that would be an ideal situation for scaling and automation. And anyone from your manager to the CFO would usually be supportive of that.
Very cool. Let me see. I think we got one more that I didn't get to. Any advice on building out video creative production to help integrate CTV into the planning?
Yeah, I think a lot of times what a lot of people do is they want to, their instinct is to repurpose social video creative for connected television. I think in some instances it might make sense, especially for B2B where you have to be a lot more resourceful than your sort of B2C counterparts that, they have more budget and resources available to themselves. So yeah, you can certainly approach the video that you're producing to also be repurposed for television. My only guidance there would be one is the specs for TV advertising are quite high, far higher than what the minimum standard is for running video creative on social media. So just kind of keep that in mind. Also, on platforms like Mountain, for example, your creative can only be 15 or 30 seconds long. In the case of like YouTube, you have certain ad units that let you just run really long video creative. It's got to be 15 or 30. It's unskippable, but it's got to be 15 or 30. So that's just another consideration as you go into that process. But we've seen some advertisers get pretty creative with repurposing existing assets for their TV campaign. So it's certainly something that you can kind of plan ahead.
Very cool. So I think that is all the questions. Does anybody else have any questions? All right. Well, that's pretty much all the time we have today. Thank you so much again to our platinum sponsor, Mountain, and obviously to Gil and Ali for being here with us today. So the next session starts in about 10 minutes. So go ahead and grab a quick snack, stretch your legs, and we'll see you guys back here shortly. Thanks again so much, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.